So we are now ready with Ms. Talia Reen from Texas State University. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to speak with you today. I do have somebody else with me today. Miss Yana Shepard is here just to observe, but she's a face that I want you guys to get to know. So you're going to see her around hopefully very soon. So once again, my name is Kelly Tallerine, and I am the Houston Regional Manager for Texas State University and Admissions Counselor for the Northeast area. And we're going to do a little bit of presenting today. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Texas State. All right. We should be, whoa, there we go. Got to get it all doing the thing it's supposed to be doing. All right, so Texas State University is located in San Marcos, Texas. San Marcos, Texas is right between Austin and San Antonio. It's about 45 minutes from the Riverwalk and 30 minutes from kind of every cool thing that Austin has to offer. Austin City Limits and all of the cool music festivals they have and do down there. So you're very close to some really cool areas. San Marcos itself is kind of a small city. We used to call it a small town, but it's definitely grown over the years. You can walk down to our courthouse and to our square where you can eat and paint pottery, whatever you may want to do there. It's definitely a very walkable town and university. We are the 4th largest in Texas, always bouncing between 4th and 5th largest in the state of Texas as far as public institutions go. And we have about 38,000 students on campus. That means we bring in a freshman class of about 6,000 students every year. So it is a large institution. We are an emerging research facility, a Hispanic serving institution, and one of America's best valued colleges. Those are all really important for the sheer fact that if you want to do research, we still allow you to do that. We are very committed to and very used to working with Hispanic students, but also first-generation students of any kind. It's very scary to come into college. It's a new process. The application process can be very difficult and complicated, and we're all very well versed in helping you guys through that process from the very beginning all the way to graduation. And then one of best valued colleges is important because college is expensive, and we'll talk about a couple of ways that we try to help you guys offset the price later in the presentation. So I wanted to talk to you about our majors because from my understanding, most of you are kind of rising seniors getting ready for this application process. And I want you to make sure that we have the major that you're looking for. So I'm going to walk through some of our majors real quick in kind of just short spurts. But if you have any questions, my contact information will be on the end of the presentation. And I think we might even have a couple minutes for Q&A. So we're going to talk first about the College of Applied Arts at Texas State. And the College of Applied Arts houses agriculture, animal science for my pre-vet students, criminal justice, which is now criminal justice, and criminology is now housed in criminal justice as well with Texas State University. And it also houses some other kind of more random majors like human development and family sciences, our interior design, fashion merchandising, and even our very strong, incredibly well-known social work program and social work master's program, if that's something you're interested in. Our criminal justice department is second in the state of Texas, and we always like to mention it because it's a pretty cool program. We do have one of the top hostage negotiators on our staff as faculty, and we also have a tactical training learning center. So when you see like NCIS or any of those cool TV shows where the really green rookie is training in a facility where they're using paintball guns and things like that to do tactical training, Texas State houses one of those facilities, and we bring in local law enforcement and FBI to use that facility. So a lot of very lucky students can sometimes work those events. The McCoy College of Business is probably one of the most popular areas of study at Texas State, and kind of business tends to be pretty popular across the board. Texas State has an accredited business program. So we're AACSB accredited, and essentially what that means is we hold a really high accreditation to make sure that class sizes are reasonable, professors are well educated, and that you're getting the best education possible. Because of that accreditation, there are some extra requirements for admission. So we'll talk about those later, but they do look for students to be just a little bit of cut above when we're looking for the McCoy College of Business students. We have everything from what I call the social side of business, so marketing and management, all the way down to the very analytical side, finance, accounting, and all of the in-betweens. We do have a class where we've given students money to trade live on the stock market. So we started off giving students around $300,000, and they started trading internationally. They grew that to almost $1 million at this point, and are now trading internationally and domestically on the stock market. There is a professor that kind of sits around and watches, but makes absolutely no decisions. It's completely student run. Students don't get to keep the money, which I think is lame, but it does fund it for the next year for students to participate as well. So a really strong business program. College of Education for Texas State is where we started. So in 1899, when Texas State was born, we were just a teacher's college. So every single thing we've done now has grown on top of that base of being, of educating educators. So we have everything from pre-K to 4, 4 through 8, special education and high school education that you can pursue with us, as well as lots of master's and doctoral programs in the education field. But the sneaky little thing that's hiding within our College of Education is our health and human performance. So if I have people interested in athletic training or physical therapy, maybe teaching and doing coaching, that's living within that health and human performance under exercise and sports science. So you can do exercise and sports science and do all of the prerequisites to prepare yourself for our physical therapy program if you'd like, our athletic training program, or if you're interested in occupational therapy, you can do that program as well and then move off to a school that does offer a full occupational therapy program. But he's sneaky, he's living under education, but it's definitely more like exercise, sports science, kinesiology. Fine arts at Texas State was ranked 3rd in the state of Texas. That comes mostly from the fact that our musical theater program is 10th in the nation. It's outstanding, highly selective, along with our acting program is the same way. Lots of things within the College of Fine Arts do require some sort of audition, from music to dance and theater and acting. We also have art and design. So you'll see our graphic design program hanging out in this college. We call it communication design, but it's exactly the same thing. It's a graphic design program. We also have journalism and mass communications. So if you ever, if you're enjoying this virtual world, right? If you're really good at the social medias and you want to potentially be like the Twitter guy for Whataburger, I think he's still pretty relevant. He was doing pretty cool a while back. Then that's a really great area to go into, journalism and mass comm, because you can do digital media, electronic media. If you wanted to work on YouTube videos, that would be the area that you'd want to study. And we're one of only 3 in the state of Texas with a fully accredited mass comm and journalism program. The College of Health Professions is incredibly popular all the time. There's lots of students that come in wanting to be nurses, which is wonderful. And I think that the situation that the world is in right now maybe will even encourage more students to want to go into this field to help everybody. And I think that that's amazing. In our College of Health Professions, we do have nursing, respiratory care, radiation therapy, clinical laboratory science, which are the people that are really helping us right now, doing a lot of scientific research. All of those are housed within our College of Health and Health Professions. Anything in this program we call a 2x2. So 2 years in the prerequisite side of things, and then you'll apply to the program and do 2 years at our in the degree plan. And sometimes that degree plan will move you up to our Round Rock campus in North Austin. It's a small satellite campus where our nursing profession is held, but physical therapy is also up there. From my understanding, communication disorders and respiratory care is up there as well. Everything will eventually move up to that Round Rock campus, but right now we're kind of splitting it between main campus and Round Rock. But know that it's 2 years in your prerequisites from you guys. It's probably 2 years in your prerequisite and then 2 years on main campus. So just keep that in mind when you're going to the program. You would, if you were applying, you would go into pre-nursing or pre-radiation therapy. So you'd find it under pre in the Apply Texas application. The College of Liberal Arts is our largest college at Texas State. It houses the most majors, and it's also what I call like our study abroad college. So you can study abroad in absolutely any major at Texas State, but if you like want to study abroad potentially more than one time, this is an awesome area to be in. It starts with anthropology, and anthropology is actually well known at Texas State because we have this thing called a body farm. So if I have anybody out there who's kind of into decomposition, the more dirty, gross side of life, this might be kind of an area for you. Anthropology at the undergrad level, so your first degree is more cultural based, a little bit of archaeology lives within there. But if you wanted to do forensic anthropology and study decomposition at our body farm, you would do that at the master's level in the same degree plan. Then we also have geography. If you wanted to study resources, water resources or environmental planning and resource studies, that's living within this program as well. And then there's my study abroad, international studies. You're actually required to study abroad in most international study programs. So travel and tourism, Asian studies, European studies, all of those are going to lead to at least one, maybe two study abroad programs. We also have psychology and sociology that's very popular, and you can do a license in personal counseling with us after you graduate with your undergrad degree if you're interested in doing that. So the College of Science and Engineering is one of our quickest growing programs. We do have aquatic biology. Texas State has a beautiful river that runs through campus, and it houses kind of a lot of our traditions. So jumping in the river after graduation, and we baptize our rings in river water. All of those fun things are surrounded by the fact that we have this river that runs through campus that's absolutely gorgeous. And it's why we can have an aquatic biology program. So aquatic biology is freshwater biology, which means it's not studying the oceans, but it's studying the Great Lakes, rivers, aquifers in Texas specifically. So we have that program, and we have a couple of little species that only live in our aquifer under our university. And so we have a lot of aquatic biology students studying our little blind geckos and guppies that live under our university and our aquifer. We also have bio, microbio, chemistry. If you wanted to be pre-med or pre-dent, a lot of the time students kind of fall in this area. You don't have to, you can major in anything you want, but it is a fast track kind of through biology or microbiology or chemistry. And then we have our engineerings. This is where we're kind of growing every single year. So we just added a brand new civil engineering program, which we're very proud of, as well as electrical, industrial, and manufacturing engineering with a lot of sub-focuses as well. The reason that we're so proud of our civil engineering program is because it is one of only 3 in the entire nation that's a fully integrated smart technology civil engineering program. Whoa, that's a lot of words. Essentially what that means is we're taking smart technology, so sensors and monitors and Bluetooth devices, and embedding them into every single class that you're learning about at Texas State, and making sure that they're always part of your civil structures so that we can measure how well that civil structure is functioning. So when we build a big bridge or building, we can say, okay, there's a little bit of a weak spot here. We need to go fix that before people come in and are part of the building, which is pretty cool. It's definitely at top of the line technology. We also have interdisciplinary studies for teachers who want to teach a little bit of everything in the sciences, engineering technologies, which are hands-on side of engineering, and math and physics, if that's your thing. I always like to mention Honors College. Honors College at Texas State is a really wonderful program. You can major in anything you want and add Honors College onto your degree plan. And this allows you to be in smaller classes, more conversation-based classes. You can live in a residence hall with just Honors College students. You get early registration for classes, which doesn't mean a lot to you now, but will when you're a sophomore or a junior in college. And it just is it's a really great support for our high achieving students. We also have tons of activities at Texas State. So you can do everything from social organizations, sororities and fraternities, all the way down to just clubs, kind of whatever club you want to be a part of. We also do a gigantic service project every year called Bobcat Build, and this is where all of the students come in and support the community for one full day, cleaning up the river and painting houses and doing kind of everything that the community needs. It's the second largest service project in Texas, and we're very proud of that. And then we also have club sports. So club sports are just for fun. They're competition between us and other universities, but just essentially for bragging rights. And at Texas State, you'll find that Quidditch, rugby, water polo, those are all really popular. But you can also do esports, cycling, equestrian club, fishing club. There's tons and tons of club sports that you can do at Texas State. And if you're looking for that university that has that kind of big football college experience and Division I athletics, we absolutely offer that as well. So we've got the loud crowd, and we like to tailgate and get out to the football games. It's definitely a part of Texas State's kind of air about the university. So lots of Division I athletics for you if that's something that you're interested in as well. So let's talk a little bit about the nitty gritty. I'll try to do it really fast so it doesn't get too boring. I know that hanging out on a computer screen isn't super jazzy. I can only dance so much. If you've ever seen me present, I dance in person, so I can only dance so much on a computer screen. Well, let's talk about housing. So at Texas State, we require freshmen to live on campus for 1 year, just 1 year, and it is your freshman incoming year. And we have tons of different styles of living, everything from community style halls or traditional halls where a floor of gents would share a restroom or a floor of ladies would share a restroom, all the way to suite style, 2 rooms share a restroom, or private style living where you have your own individual room and you only share a restroom with one other, but you share kind of like an apartment style suite with 3 other people. They all go up in price. The more private you get, the more expensive you get, but those options are available for you on campus. These also include a meal plan, so you can eat on campus, and there's tons of good food. It's not just the all you care to eat buffets, although we have multiple of those. You can get Dunkin' Donuts, Panda Express, a really good burger. When I go back to campus, I like to go get a Coyote Jack's burger, so they're pretty good. So here's the super nitty gritty and where a couple of things start to change from maybe previous years in admissions with Texas State. We still are looking at our assured admissions chart. So what you'll see on the screen is a guaranteed admissions chart. If you hit the class rank required and an SAT or ACT requirement, you would have guaranteed admission to Texas State. And that is great if you were able to take the SAT or ACT. If you weren't able to take the SAT or ACT, what we've done is we're moving all students into review if they're in the first, second, or third quartile. So let's go ahead and say that you're in the first quartile with 1,000, amazing. Welcome to Texas State guaranteed admission. But if you weren't able to test, know that you're just gonna pop down into that review category and you're gonna go through a holistic review. That's where the next stuff comes in very, very important. So at Texas State, we do require you to put in an application through Apply Texas or Coalition. That application for fall 2021, we're crossing our fingers and it's going to open sometime in mid to late August. There's a couple of delays via COVID, and I think that that's just something we're all kind of dealing with at this point. So the application should open in mid to late August on Apply Texas and potentially the Coalition app. We've always said that there was an optional essay, and that is true. It is optional. But because so many students aren't testing and we're going through this kind of the holistic review process, please send me an essay. I really, really need to see your essay because that's going to be one of the major components for admissions through this whole new holistic review process that we're doing for students who don't have test scores. You need to submit your application fee of $75 or more, but for fall 2021, we are accepting SAT, ACT, and NACAC fee waivers for all students. Send your high school transcripts or GED. We are accepting these unofficially for right now, so if you can't get them from your school really super quick, you can just email us a copy that you got from the website or Naviance, whatever you use. We'll take the unofficial transcript via email. And then send in your SAT or ACT scores if you have them. We will also take these unofficially from the PDF that they send you after you've tested. So your score report, we'll take that unofficially through email as well. If you didn't test, once again, that's okay. Just send in the rest of your information and we'll get you into the review process. When you're filling out the Apply Texas application, make sure that you are spending time in it. Make sure that you're filling out that section that says, I've got extra, I've got extracurriculars and all of those wonderful things. We know that there's a delay in extracurriculars because everyone's still kind of isolating right now, or your extracurriculars been canceled. We understand that. Fill out what you have done, and that's going to be just fine. Our priority date is going to be March 1st. We still admit after March 1st, but it just means that that's when we'd like to see all of your application in and ready to go so that you can be priority for other things like financial aid and housing. So college is expensive, and we understand that. So we're gonna just know that Texas State runs about $24,000 to $26,000 depending on where you choose to live, but we're gonna help you in a couple of ways. The first is financial aid. Financial aid opens October 1st, and we can award you grants, which you don't have to pay back, work studies, which you work for, and loans, which you do have to pay back. But this all comes from the FAFSA and financial aid that opens October 1st. And that is solely based on your family income. But then we also have scholarships. So at Texas State, we have assured scholarships, and these start with, if they're like hit them, you get them. So if you're in the top 35% of your class with an 1160 on your SAT or a 24 on the ACT, you will be guaranteed scholarship money at Texas State. We are still requiring that you test for these, but you've got all year to test. You have all the way to next August to test for that scholarship. So no panic, please don't run off and sign up for a test. It's okay. You can be admitted and then test later in the year when things are hopefully a little bit more back to normal and be eligible for that scholarship. National scholarships are based on national merit or national Hispanic, awarding through PSAT. And then we also have competitive scholarships. These are scholarships where you do have to apply after you've been admitted by December 15th, but we will be taking the January test date for this. So you can apply for them and take a test in January, and we will accept that test date for these scholarships as well. So that's it for me. I think I'm right on time, I hope. Please let me know if you have questions. And this is my contact information. Once again, you're gonna be seeing Sienna soon, but not quite yet. So if you have questions, send them over to me at kellytowering@txstate.edu. I'm also doing one-on-one visits. If you need to have a more in-depth conversation, I'm happy to do that as well. So let me pop off sharing this screen. And let me know in the chat if you have any questions. And if not, we'll pass it on to the next university.